Welcome in episode number 55, Double Nickels on the board, the first podcast episode of 2024. I am joined once again by my friend and co-host Zach Huffman. We will talk about the college football playoff, get you all caught up on stuff that we didn't cover while we were away. We will talk to Zach about his Oklahoma Sooners in their bowl game against Arizona. We will talk about Nick Saban and Bill Belichek hanging up the coaching microphone and headset for the foreseeable future. Yeah. And we'll talk about the coaching search, Oklahoma City Thunder, and NFL playoff wildcard weekend. Zach, how you doing on this Be Happy Thirsty Thursday?
We're doing good. We got some Thunder gear on because we got a Thunder game going on tonight. Got the new shirt, the little slam cover shirt. Feeling good about it.
Oh, yeah. You should feel really good about
it. Hoping for a little dub. That game starts in about 12 minets here, so
yeah,
Portland, a couple updates.
Little Scoot,
should win.
Little Scoot
should
Henderson.
Should win.
Little Scoot Henderson, Chet Holmgren rookie face-off. More rookie v rookie stuff. I know the Jaime Jaquez Holmgren rookie face-off last night was a raging success for the Thunder, but overall, I like the way Jaquez looks as well for Miami. They obviously didn't have Jimmy or Kyle Lowry and a bunch of their other pieces that were out, but it still was a entertaining game that, you know, it came down to the wire. Probably shouldn't have, but it kind of did. There was a big lead and kind of got dwindled there late. But, you know, that's the NBA for you. You know, no lead is really ever safe. But let's kind of dial it back here. Let's dial it back here. College football is done, right? It's over. It's the off season is here. And how did we get here? College football playoff. We talked about it a couple episodes ago with the four that made it. And, you know, both of these games in the college football playoff were fantastic. And I have to think that, you know, the right decision to leave Florida State out probably gave us those quality games. Let's go ahead and talk about Michigan and Alabama. Michigan beat Alabama 27-20. Alabama had a chance to tie that thing on the last play of the game, and they cooked up a what I believe was Jalen Milroe calling his own number. I don't think that Nick Saban called a quarterback draw on 4th and goal, but that's what happened. Botched snap led to the panic of Jalen Milroe just kind of diving himself into one of the better defensive lines out of the 4 teams remaining. What was your big takeaway from Michigan getting by Nick Saban and so many people saying, oh, they broke Nick Saban? Don't really think that's the case, but what's your opinion on how that game went?
I don't think it was so much as like breaking Nick Saban, because I mean you don't do that. That doesn't happen. Nick Saban retired because he wants to retire. The biggest takeaway I think I got from the game was J.J. McCarthy just outplayed Jalen Milroe. I think J.J. McCarthy probably played one of his best games of the entire season here against Alabama. I mean, let's see, he threw for 221 and 3 touchdowns. You're not seeing a lot of J.J. McCarthy games going for the two triple digits there. So Jalen Milroe's obviously got to play better. Obviously, he's going to return next season, we think, unless he decides to transfer out of there following Nick Saban's retirement. But we'll see. Another thing is J.J. McCarthy could also stay another year if he wanted to. So we'll see where that goes. But I will say that I think that if Alabama ended up winning this game, which they easily could have won this game, this did go into overtime, they probably would have beaten Washington in the championship, and Nick Saban would have gone out with another natty.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the feeling I got was Alabama had every shot in the world to win that football game, and they just couldn't get it done. And, you know, credit Michigan where credit is due. You know, winners win, and teams that struggle and have bad snaps and stuff that you just can't have happen. You know, when you make those kind of mistakes or have those kind of problems, you're most likely not going to have your chance to drink from the victor's cup. So I mean, that was the first game of the evening, and then it was followed up by one that didn't look like it was going to come down to the wire, but it did. And let's kind of dissect this a little bit more intricately, because there was a lot that went into the last minute of this football game between Washington and Texas, because you take a look at the score and it's like, okay, 6-point ball game. But it really was not that close. It was a 16-point game, or sorry, a 10-point game heading into the fourth quarter, and Texas, they outscore Washington 10-6 in that final quarter. Washington doesn't score a touchdown past the third quarter. But what I want to focus on mainly, Zach, is you have like 52 seconds left in this game, and instead of taking a knee, I thought Mario Cristobal earlier this season kind of led the coaches to the watering hole, but you can't force anybody to drink with the way Miami lost that game to Georgia Tech. But here comes DeBauer handing it off to Dylan Johnson, and not only does he not get appropriate yardage for a first down, he hurts himself and requires you to burn a timeout because he hurts himself, and that was the only reason why Texas had 40 seconds to try to get down the field in the first place. It's just totally avoidable stuff that in the end, that injury to Dylan Johnson probably was the difference between them winning or losing the national championship in some respects. But in this game in particular, it gave Texas the chance to march down the field, and they had a shot at Adonai Mitchell in the front corner of the end zone, or that towards that near pylon, to win this football game. And a great play by the defensive back, got his hand in there and knocked it away, because that was on target. It would have been a tough catch, but he would have got a foot down and it would have been a touchdown, and Texas would have been heading to the national championship. What was your takeaway from the way that this game ended out there at the All-State Sugar Bowl?
Thank fucking God he didn't catch it. That was that's my takeaway from that, because I couldn't take a Texas fan telling me that they've won a playoff game. No for me. Big takeaway for me is Michael Penix Jr. played fantastic in this playoff game. He had 430 yards, 2 tutties. Was it 29 for 38? Just had 9 incompletions. Played fantastic. Just outplayed Quinn Ewers up and down throughout the entire game, except for that fourth quarter where Washington had some questionable play calls, like you kind of already dived into. But biggest takeaway from the game was that both teams were just airing it out. Geez, why are we throwing so many times? We got about 40 throws from both quarterbacks here.
Yeah, it was literally a shootout. It was literally a shootout in every sense of the word. When the top rusher in the whole entire game only has 64 yards, you're throwing the football.
Yeah.
That's
9 carries.
Yeah, 9 carries, and you got a touchdown in there. This game, again, very entertaining, but it didn't need to come down to Washington fans sweating it out. And I think that's probably what keeps Washington's head coach from probably getting that Alabama job, because I just think you have to have better time management than that, better awareness, and to avoid something that's completely avoidable. You had the opportunity to do that and only give Texas like 12 to 15 seconds to try to go 80 yards. It's just, you could have made that a lot easier on yourself. And I don't know what the point of handing it off even was. I really didn't understand it. It was amazing to watch. From a viewer's perspective, to just see kind of the ineptitude of kind of executing the last minute of the game for Washington, because it seemed like such a Washington thing to do, right? They're like, oh yeah, they would blow this, you have a great year and then have it come down to something just spectacularly stupid. And I'm glad Washington fans don't have to live with that. But let's fast forward to what happened next, which was what looked to be an onslaught of the Michigan Wolverines just jumping on top of the Huskies early in the national championship game. They're up 14-3 at the end of the first quarter, and a lot of people said this is getting really ugly. But I want to credit the Washington defense, because they didn't let Michigan score a touchdown and extend their lead until around the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter. That game stayed 20-13 for a whole quarter and a half, Zach. And Washington had multiple possessions where they could have gone down and tied this football game, and they just couldn't do anything. Penix looked scared. He looked like he was just absolutely juicing throws to wide open wide receivers, throwing it to the wrong side of their body, wide open Roman Dunze. You miss him early, and then you had a big pickup late that was called back because of the same right tackle kept fucking holding. I don't know who that number 73 is, but I said on the live broadcast, I said, I hope he feels terrible. I said because I mean you literally took the chance for your team to go and tie this thing up away multiple times. And I know he's a kid, and I mean I don't really think that he's gonna really think that much about it. And if and he'll improve, he'll get better. I mean it was just him over and over and over again, holding call, false start, holding call, and it was just like, are you going to even try to replace him? I just don't think they could, the way that the defensive line was going for Michigan and getting back there to Penix. But in the end, 2 garbage time touchdowns. I'm going to call them garbage time touchdowns to make this thing look a lot uglier than it was.
Daggers.
Yeah, it was daggers. Yeah, it was curtains. I mean, I think the first one was curtains, and then obviously you have the pick almost 6 by Mike St0ner still that he brings back all the way inside the 10-yard line to set up a walk-in touchdown for was it Blake Corum that walked in, I think, because Donovan already had 2. So yeah, that was Corum's second. Yeah, that was Corum's second. Yeah.
I think it was your call when you were like, "That's the ball game. Michigan's national champions there."
Yeah, and that was true. There was no way I felt with 4.5 minutes left that the way Washington was playing that they could score quickly at all, because scoring quickly was like their identity all season long. And for some reason, this game, it just seemed like they couldn't do anything. And I thought Westover had a great game for them. I said throughout the game, I think he was their secret weapon. On third down, it was like going to Jason Witten for the Cowboys. He was just open. He just found his way to get open, and Penix found him the football. But you didn't get a lot of action from McMillan. You didn't get a lot of action from Polk. Those guys that are usually going to take pressure off of Ondunze to get him open. And he still had 5 catches for 87 yards, but you took probably away a touchdown from him early by throwing it to the wrong side of his body. Should he still kind of made the adjustment and made that catch? Probably. You can't miss that bad. And I just think that the pressure kind of got to Penix. What was your takeaway from Michigan's national championship?
His takeaway was their rushing. I mean, their rushing offense was just so good. And that has a lot to do with the fact that Washington's defense did not show up whatsoever, especially in that first half. You look at Blake Corum, 21 carries, 134 yards for 2 touchdowns. What I think is even more impressive is Donovan Edwards, who just exploded in the first quarter, just to what I think just won Michigan the game right in the first quarter there. Yeah. 6 carries, 104 yards for a 17-yard average and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, first 2 carries were touchdowns.
Yeah, first 2 carries for touchdowns, quick. They were large runs, and it just kind of set the tone and the momentum for the rest of the game. And I just don't think Washington could ever recover from that first quarter.
Yeah, and the thing about Washington is going into this, they had a worse rush defense than Alabama did. So a lot of people were like, that's going to be a problem. But me being, pro Washington going into this, because, I feel like karma. I feel like karma should have caught up with Jim Harbaugh at this point.
America was pro Washington.
Yeah, and so I just thought, if they're going to hand it off and they want to run first, you have to be able to have your defense on the page of run first, pass second. And I just don't think that their defensive coordinator prepped them. I mean, you just got to be able to do that. I mean, the 2 plays Donovan Edwards scored on, Zach, were both counter plays where he's heading one direction. The whole entire defense goes that direction. In the first time, it was a clean cut. But the second time, he runs into his own offensive lineman and bounces off of him, kind of gets lost behind that big offensive line and then pops out of there. And there was nobody back there. And it's like, you have to have some sort of run discipline. And they're going to run the football because, like you said, J.J. McCarthy doesn't throw. This guy doesn't throw. I mean, because he usually doesn't need to because of the competition they're playing and how good their offensive line is. They can just hand it off to Blake Corum every single play and still get out of the Big Ten with 9 or 10 wins. I mean, we knew that heading into the season, but to really look at his stats and go, he won games where he didn't even throw for 70 yards. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. So why not make him beat you? Because when he did throw the football, Zach, he wasn't doing a great job. It wasn't great. 2 incompletions on third down, an incompletion on 4th and short where they probably just should have handed it off. I mean, it's, you miss a guy over the top of his head 3 times. I mean, J.J. McCarthy is not a throwing quarterback. And I think that...
Which... It's really important to note that it's insane that he's being projected for the first round of the draft right now.
Insane.
He is not a good quarterback. I mean, he's a solid piece for Michigan. He's a good, solid game manager. But if you need him to make plays, he's not making plays. He's not going to be able to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's entirely insane to have him projected to even get drafted at this point. I mean, give him another year. Maybe I'll eat my words,
Yeah.
but this kid is not NFL ready.
No, I think the national championship bias is there. I mean, now the funny thing is people weren't saying that about Stetson Bennett. I remember being on the podcast with you saying I wouldn't be surprised if someone takes him early on in this draft because of the way he played, and nobody did. Nobody bit. And and obviously, he's with the Rams, and he's a backup, and probably what he's going to be the rest of his career will be a backup in the NFL. But the thing is it's like, why is JJ getting so much more of this first round bias, Zach? Because like you said, if he's going to make a play, it ain't going to be with his arms, it's going to be with his legs running the read option, because he's handed it off to Blake Corum so much. The one time he pulls it, there's 40 yards right there. He's fast. I'll give him these fast, but he's not like fast. But I mean, he's like, dual threat, get you 40 yards if there's enough room fast. And I think
he's Zach Wilson without the arm strength.
Yeah, he's Zach Wilson without the arm strength. And I think that's a perfect analogy.
Look where that gets you.
Yeah.
I mean, look what Zach Wilson gets you. You now take away his arm strength, and you're left with, I don't know, put JJ McCarthy on the Jets, they win 0 games. It's simple.
Well, but and the other argument is, what if you put him on the 49ers? I think you could put 90% of quarterbacks in the 49ers, and they're probably right where they're at.
You could put me in the 49ers, and we're probably 13-3 or
whatever. Yeah. People were like, imagine if Zach Wilson was playing for the 49ers. He'd be considered an MVP candidate. He would be. I was like, but you take any. I mean, Bailey Zappi would look like freaking Jesus if you put him behind that offensive line.
No shade to Glock Purdy over here. But,
no. I mean, he throws a pretty ball.
That guy.
Yeah, he throws a pretty ball.
He's Mr. Irrelevant. Let's not forget, he's really nothing special. The MVP resides in Dallas, Texas, or Baltimore.
Yes, you're talking about CeeDee Lamb, right?
I'm talking about Dak Prescott.
No, you're wild. No, CeeDee Lamb is having a great. CeeDee Lamb is.
CeeDee Lamb is having a great season.
He's
but he's
a superstar, dog. What are you talking about?
MVP is a quarterback award.
I mean, I'll give you that, but I mean, like,
CeeDee will win Offensive Player of the Year maybe if Tyreek Hill doesn't win it, but it should be CeeDee.
I think
it should be.
It should be. I mean, there's some bedlam stuff there with that. I mean, because and the thing, but the thing is the thing is I mean, Dak Prescott is kind of a wild choice for MVP, but I mean, I can understand the argument.
No, he's not. He's like second in the casino.
Behind who? Brock Purdy?
Lamar Jackson, I think.
I was like, as it should be Lamar. I was like, I don't think Brock is in the running anymore.
Yeah.
After taking a game off and having Sam Darnold come in and almost win a game before he fumbled it away.
Let me see what the odds are. Yeah, it's Lamar Jackson at right now. Let's see, DraftKings has Lamar Jackson as MVP at minus 20,000. Oh my god.
Yeah, it seems like a lock.
Seems like a lot. Yeah, Dak Prescott's plus 1,800 in second. Brock Purdy's third, plus 3,500, followed by Josh Allen at plus 5,000.
Josh Allen does not deserve to be there.
He doesn't. And then your first non-quarterback is Christian McCaffrey at plus 4,000.
I mean, okay, he's like scored in every single game, so I kind of understand that. I mean, but I still think
CeeDee Lamb on the top 10.
That's ridiculous.
Top 12.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Whatever. I feel. I mean. But like you said, it's a quarterback award, so why are we even worried about it? But I mean, I think that
CeeDee Lamb's at plus 20,000.
Yeah, he's not winning it. I think Lamar Jackson wins it, but I mean, whether or not Lamar plays like an MVP quarterback in the playoffs is yet to be seen. But we'll dive into that in a minute. Back to this though. Look, congratulations to Michigan. JJ McCarthy, not really an NFL quarterback. Hopefully, the GMs will be smarter than the mainstream media and not give him the opportunity to be a first-round pick, because we all know that he's just not that guy. Please just come back for another year, JJ. Hone your skills. Try to get yourself, But if this is really his legit draft grade, and I don't think you stay another year if you're JJ. I think you have to take this money, this first-round money, if you think you're going to go to a team like, please, not like the Patriots. They just don't do it. But I mean, like, I feel like they would be dumb enough to do it. I know Belichek isn't calling the shots anymore, so that kind of makes me feel a little better about it. But whoever takes him is going to make a mistake, and I think they'll reap the consequences of that. But he will be reaping a big paycheck. So I mean, if that's where he's considered to go, I don't think you're going to get a better draft grade coming back and playing for a non-Jim Harbaugh Michigan team if Jim actually leaves, which it seems like is pretty much a foregone conclusion.
Yeah,
but
shout out to Michigan.
Yeah, shout out to Michigan.
They won their first title in like 60 years because 1997 doesn't count.
Yeah. So wait, why does it not count?
Nebraska's.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right, because Nebraska got screwed. Yeah. So I mean, I think that the year overall, good college football season. It had its ups, had its downs. Let's kind of dive into Oklahoma because they're moving into the SEC now, and we got a little taste of the Jackson Arnold experience in your bowl game. It didn't end well for you against Arizona, but again, I don't think anybody really came in with the expectations of you guys being able to win this game. It looked really promising late in the third quarter when you had an 11-point lead, but we saw that just kind of evaporate. Kind of go through what were your takeaways from Jackson Arnold's performance? I know the turnovers didn't look good, but I think that those things can be fixed. Aside from that, how are you feeling coming into the 2024-25 season with your Sooners?
Well, the big thing is that there were 6 total turnovers, and Jackson Arnold accounted for like 4 of them or whatever. He didn't play great. I didn't necessarily expect him to play great. I was thinking we could win this game. That's me as an OU fan thinking that, but he threw 3 interceptions. I think he had 1 fumble or maybe 2. I think it was just one.
It was just one. It was the one at the end, the strip sack.
Yeah, just 1 fumble. He threw for what is it? Let me see, 361. I mean, he was showing off his arm talent. That's for sure. I'll give him that. His arm looked good. When he looked good, he looked really good, but his turnovers were not great. And I think that they can fix that in the offseason. And I think that, if you have a September Jackson playing this game, you probably win by a touchdown. I'm happy that we drew Arizona on the bowl game just because they played so well towards the season. And they probably deserve to be a top 10 team over some frauds like Missouri or whatever. So I'm not too upset about the loss. I was pretty upset in the moment. A couple curse words getting thrown around.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, me too. I was watching that game rooting for you guys. I really was. I mean, my game wasn't. My game wasn't.
Our receivers weren't making plays.
I mean, Farouk killed you guys. Farouk killed you guys. 2 red zone fumbles.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that kind of killed you guys. But yeah, I mean, and my game was a blowout. So that, which I was pleasantly surprised. I really thought that they were going to get our GOAT, but with Bo Nix being in there, I didn't think we were going to lose. I didn't think we were going to run away with it the way we did, but there's no really reason to talk about the Ducks at all other than good season, clap, clap. You should have ran the ball more against Washington, obviously. But
now you're on your way to a natty.
We'll see. I think that really is determined on how the quarterback play is. I think a lot of it hinges on that. But back to your Sooners here. I mean, like you said, I feel like most of those turnovers in the passing game were chemistry issues, right? You don't really have him taking first team reps for more than the month they had to prep. I don't think that's enough time, and especially with the weapons that you guys are going to get with Burks coming in from Purdue, Texas trying to take him away from you. Don't let him do that. And
he's listen, we're not gonna lose a recruit to fucking Texas.
It's not a recruit, it's a portal guy.
Whatever. Well, you know what it is. Same thing.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing now.
Well, you know what's sad, and I don't know if you saw this. It just happened a couple minutes ago. Casey Thompson, Boomer. I mean, he just came over here. He's our backup now.
Yeah, it's a solid backup.
He threw for he was Texas' best quarterback since Colt McCoy.
Yeah, literally.
He was better than Quinn Ewers.
Better than Case McCoy.
Oh yeah.
Remember those days with Case McCoy and Jordan Shipley's brother Jackson? those were the days. I think with Burks coming in, with Anthony being healthy, I think you have to give. I think you have Nick Anderson is going to be a superstar. That kid is an NFL. Superstar. That is an NFL wide receiver you have. That's the best wide receiver you've had since CeeDee Lamb is that man right there. Farouk coming back gives you an asset. I don't think he's really that fumble prone. I wouldn't be too discouraged. I do think he's probably your third option. coming into this next season, which is probably where he should be. I don't think he's really an NFL guy, but I think he's a really good college wide receiver. I think, like I said, give Gibson some more reps. I really do believe that he is going to be something good. But with Anthony and Burks out there, who are both 4.3, 4.25 guys, I mean, that's going to really open up the field. If they can get a tight end in here that's a receiving tight end that's actually worth a damn. I know St0ner, bless his heart. I mean, he's a good guy. I admire him for coming back and trying to give this offense something, but they just did not look his way enough. He just was not a receiving threat. I really think his injury kind of prevented him from being able to separate himself from a lot of linebackers and stuff to get open, and I also think they mainly just used him for run plays. So I think that kind of went hand in hand. He was more of a blocker than a receiver, and I think that OU's its best when it has a receiving tight end like a Gresham or a Mark Andrews or Calcaterra. I mean, these guys that are in the NFL that are making plays for NFL teams. When they have a guy that's able to go up and get a football over the middle of the field and really exploit the fact that you have speedsters running on the outsides and leave that middle of the field open to have somebody be able to nestle in there in between the safeties and the linebackers. I think that's where Oklahoma's offense has performed the best statistically in the years where they've had that option. So I think you're in a really good position right now. Do you think that your
defense is the real thing that's got me excited? The new recruits coming in for the defense, the returning defense, mostly Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman, is going to be very, very good. I think Oklahoma is actually finally going to have the best defense in the country next year. And what I'm even more hopeful about is that with Nick Saban's retirement, Alabama players now have a 30-day window to open themselves up into the portal, and I think that Brent Venables is going to go get a couple of those guys on that Alabama defense. That's going to be pretty good. That's going to be pretty good for Oklahoma. And I think that we look at some offensive line guys now that we've lost some guys like Caden Green, and we lost some guys to. An ad started playing on my thing. That threw me off. But we lost.
You were spitting. You were spitting. Motherfucker was spitting.
We lost. We lost a couple of guys to the draft. We lost Caden Green to Missouri somehow. Yeah, whatever. And we gotta get some guys. I think we got a couple of recruits. I haven't been paying attention as much as I should be for the OU recruitment, but I know we got a couple of guys on the O-line signed. But I want to go get those guys at Alabama. That's who I want to go get.
Yeah, see, I was going to say, you need to poach some offensive linemen. I know you're looking at that guy from LSU. You're hoping to get him, but now, like you said, with this 30-day window, that was before the 30-day window, before we knew Nick Saban was leaving. That was the guy you were looking at, was that LSU guy. If you don't get him, I think that's definitely where I would try to poach some players from. I would try to look and see if you could poach another wide receiver from a team like that. And if Jim Harbaugh leaves,
Alabama receiver, he came into the portal, the 5-star plus receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were like, gimme.
I want to go, gimme.
I mean, well, I'm thinking like Isaiah Bond or somebody, like if he decides to leave, maybe think about giving him a shot. But again, and if Jim Harbaugh leaves, Michigan players will have 30 days to jump into the portal as well, and that would be an offensive line hub that I would try to tap into if I'm any team in the country. But talking about your team specifically, that's a need that you need desperately, especially when you have the top running back in the country coming in as a recruit. I mean, I think that OU right now is built to take care of their side of the SEC, considering that the king is gone and that you have kind of this resurgence of a dominant defensive line with the recruits coming in that look really good. David Stone coming in to pair with a couple other highly touted defensive linemen, and that's something that you didn't have this year, was pressure on the quarterback a lot. It was better than it has been. Again, this is the best your defense has looked in about probably 7 or 8 years. So I mean, there's not really anything to complain about as far as that. But I'm talking about the Tommy Harris days. I'm talking about the defenses that made you scared to even attempt a pass. That is the kind of defense that I imagine this defensive line being able to be constructed like. And that's what I think the SEC needs to prep itself for. Now, again, things happen, recruits don't pan out, but I just don't think that's the case this time. I think Brent Venables, his strength is knowing how to recruit defensive players. And if that's the way that you need to go to win football games in the SEC, go ahead and do that. Defense wins championships, because if you can't score, then my team is going to have enough guys to at least put a field goal on the board and beat you 3-0. That's kind of have the mentality that this team has to have. Now, they're not going to, because they have, like you said, Jackson Arnold is a great quarterback. They're going to have an offense. But I'm just saying, Brent Venables thinks about it defense first, because that's his nature. So I think that, having that is a huge benefit, because you've just had nothing but offensive guys. Now, Bob Stoops was not an offensive guy, but with Lincoln Riley, it was all offense all the time. And I think you just diluted your recruiting, pool of defensive linemen, because Clemson was taking all these guys and putting them into the draft when Venables was over there. And I think that reputation bringing it over to Norman is, I can still get you to that next level. Kids really believe that, and I believe that that's why you have these highly touted defensive linemen coming into Norman and wanting to be a part of this defense.
Exactly. That's the strength of OU now, is being able to recruit defense. The offense will take care of itself. You're always gonna have guys that want to come play quarterback for OU. You're always gonna have guys that want to come play wide receiver at OU. So as long as we can keep recruiting offensive linemen and running backs, OU's gonna be fine.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a good offseason for you, and I'm excited. I have nothing to my Ducks offseason to add other than I'm glad Dan Lanning is coming back and not taking the Alabama job. I really commend him, because a lot of coaches have used that job as a stepping stone, and I'm kind of glad to have somebody that's as attractive and as young as Dan Lanning to decide to decide to stay. I mean, nobody else looks better smoking a cigar in front of their fireplace watching a TV than Dan Lanning does after bagging a big recruit. I'm just saying. I think that for the Oregon Ducks, I think we're prepping ourselves to try to take over the Big Ten, and right now we're in a great position to do so. And especially if Jim Harbaugh leaves, kind of same mentality as OU. Try to poach as many of those offensive linemen from Michigan. Try to poach some of those defensive guys that can help you out, because that's a pipeline. Obviously, the Alabama guys that are trying to leave, try to get some of those out there, because like you said, if your coach is thinking about leaving, this is where you want to come play, because I ain't going anywhere. Exactly. And I love that mentality, and I love somebody that's trying to build out in Eugene. And the grass is greener in Eugene. And multiple types of grass are green in Eugene as well. And so that's another thing to think about as we head into the offseason with some of these big name schools, as Oregon is in the top 4 for odds to win the national championship next year. I think that's a little high right now, because we don't really know what the quarterback situation is going to be. I feel confident we have.
What do you mean you don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be? Come on now. Dylan Gabriel is going to be just fine. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards. He's probably going to throw for 4,500 yards.
Okay,
I don't know what you're worried about with the quarterback
why did I forget he was? I don't know why I forgot he was coming. I've already just forgotten he's going to be there. I've completely
like top 3 in Heisman odds.
I've already forgotten.
He's probably going to win that. He is probably going to win the Heisman.
I'm sorry to say this. We've been gone for so long. I literally was like, who do we have as a freshman that's going to be starting for our quarterback? Like, we don't have anybody. I'm so brain dead. My brain is so broken. No, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. So yeah, what am I saying? We're gonna be fine.
He's probably gonna win the Heisman.
But let's dip into this though. So Nick Saban is gone. Just give me your thoughts on your initial reaction to Nick Saban hanging it up, and then we'll kind of move on to Bill Belichick. But let's touch on Nick Saban first. What were your initial thoughts?
As soon as I heard the news, my first thoughts were, well, he's the greatest of all time. Nobody's ever gonna beat him. My next thought was, wow, he's really running from OU. He had to come to Norman that season. I guess he didn't want to do that.
He'll still be there.
Yeah, he probably won't be there. But I think it just kind of opened up the SEC a little bit. I knew it was kind of time. If you look at Nick Saban's tenure at Alabama, it's basically every other year or every 2 years he's won a natty.
This is the first 3-year span where he hasn't won one.
Exactly. That was my initial thought, was this is the first 3-year span he hasn't won it, and I guess he just thought to himself, I'm washed. That's probably what he thought after going to overtime with the national champion. He decided that he was washed.
I
don't blame him.
I think Jalen Milroe.
This is the first time
I think
since his
Jalen
first
Milroe broke
year.
him. I think Jalen Milroe broke him.
This is. He looked at Jalen Milroe and said, "I cannot do this anymore."
One more year. No, can't. No, I can't. Like, no.
So I did see one thing. Nick Saban's first season at Alabama, their highest rank in the AP poll was 16th. Every other year besides that year, he was number one at some point. This season was the first time since his first season at Alabama that he was never number one at any point in the season, and I think that probably also had a lot to do with it. He just, he's a top 3 coach in the country, and I don't know if he's a top 1 coach in the country anymore. And I think that's enough for him to decide to retire.
Do you think the NIL had anything to do with that? Do you think he saw the impact of the NIL coming for like his recruiting dominance? Because I feel like with some of these older coaches, I think that's the thing now is they're like, well, I could do it when I could just promise these guys that like we were going to win football games and that, that I could get them into the league. But now they want a paycheck also, and other teams with more disposable income or not even disposable income, but more, more room in the budget to pay players, because now, with Alabama, all those starters, they want decent packages, and you have maybe a wide receiver you really want to keep, but a team like West Virginia's got a bunch of money to blow because they're not paying anybody because their players are mid, and they want to splurge it all on this wide receiver and offer him twice as much as you are, so he goes there, and you lose out on him just because of dollar signs. Do you think the NIL had something to do with maybe him hanging it up early as well, didn't want to deal with it anymore?
I don't really think it had that much to do with it. I think that you have your couple scenarios like you just explained, where you have your star guy that's going to get one school like a West Virginia to throw everything at them, and that's like what Colorado did with Seton. Is that his name, Seton? I think. They got like a number 1 something.
Yeah, I think you're right. Or
like Mizzou with like Hayden Green just throw, or with Nawani just like throwing the bag at one guy. But I mean, it's Alabama. They got plenty of sponsors putting money into that program. They have plenty of alumni putting money into that NIL program. They have the money to get whoever they want. They might lose a couple of guys to those like one-off programs, but as long as they're not going to like Georgia, then you're good.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're Alabama, if they're not going to Georgia, I'd say, and right now, if your recruits aren't going to Georgia, Texas, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe Oregon, you're good. If you're Alabama, that was before Nick Saban retired. Now, I think next season Alabama probably. I mean, I don't think we're going to see them in the 12-team playoff.
Really? I can understand that, because I think that you'll just run out of room, right? I mean, because think about all the teams that are going to be involved in that, and then the criteria to even get there in the first place also plays a huge factor. I think at some point they'll probably be a top 10 team. I think preseason they'll probably be a top 10 team. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold that spot, but I think that the media is pretty biased still with Alabama, even with Nick Saban gone, and it'll also depend on who they pick up as a head coach as well. Yeah, and it'll also depend on who they
Jalen
pick.
Milroe, they have other guys.
Yeah.
I don't know who.
Such big shoes.
Who do they get?
Such big shoes.
Who do they get? That's like
you know who they're gonna get? You know who they get? It's gonna be Scott Frost.
Dabo.
It's gonna be Scott Frost.
It's gonna be Dabo.
Scott Frost.
It's gonna be Dabo.
Scott Frost.
You know who I would get? Like, this is a sleeper, and maybe I'm crazy. No, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe just maybe. I'm giving Matt Rule a call.
Ooh, that's a good call. I like that. That's not crazy. That's not. I mean, his buyout's probably insane, though, right? Like, isn't his buyout kind of lofty?
Who cares?
I don't know. I'm not saying they care. I'm not saying they care. I'm just saying that's a lot of money. I mean, I was thinking, am I crazy saying Bob Stoops? I mean, like, not that. I
think you are.
I mean, yeah, he's probably done. I think he's done.
He's done so.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, he has the XFL.
Maybe not. Maybe he was.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he was waiting for Drake to be done.
See, and I also think
that you kind of forced him out a little bit.
I kind of agree with that too.
I think he just wanted maybe to wait and see if wait until Drake Stoops was done playing at OU, so he never had to coach against him or anything. But I would figure he's done. He did coach in the XFL a little bit.
Yeah, And he
I would
still
be
is,
very
isn't
upset
he?
if Bob Stoops.
He's still gonna coach next season.
I don't
He
think
is.
so.
He's still gonna coach the Renegades next season.
Oh yeah, he is.
So
Well, I would be pretty upset if Bob Stoops was a coach for another team. Like,
I mean, I know you would be. I'm just saying.
if it was Alabama, that'd be fun because he would come to Norman that season.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't know who I love more
yeah.
in that scenario.
Yeah, that would be wild. I mean, but I would give him a call, right? I mean, you have to hit up Big Bob, right? I mean, just see where he's at, right?
Do you?
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, maybe there's other guys you would
Maybe
rather
he's
have.
a little. I mean, I love Bob. I love me some Bob Stoops.
I don't know.
Maybe
maybe
he might be a little washed. He hasn't been a head coach since what, 2015?
No, I'm saying last year. XFL counts. Quit discarding the XFL. It counts. He won He won a championship. He's a championship-winning XFL coach.
Different rule. He can coach. I'll give him. He can coach the defense just fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he would take the job just because I think he's so in love with OU.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But here is
I think if Alabama hired him, they would have to worry about him tanking the OU game.
I mean, yeah. Well, you know what? That I'm okay with that. But here's
especially because Coach Straight Stoops is going to be on the other side too.
He's going to be a wide receiver coach. I think he's going to go in the league, man. Someone's going to grab him. Oh, you got to be kidding me! Someone's grabbing that kid. The Patriots will grab him. The Patriots will grab him. He's like Julian Edelman 2.0.
Dude, he's like 24.
So what? Get good. I'm trying to win one Super Bowl. Fuck. You've had enough winning, you dumb Patriots.
Be good in the NFL. I just don't think he's gonna get drafted. I think he might get signed.
Oh, dude, he's a second
day
guy.
You don't waste a draft pick.
He's a second day guy. He's a second day guy.
You don't waste a pick on him.
But now that Dan Lanning is out of the conversation, here are your updated odds for head coaching at Alabama. Coming in at number 1 is your boy Dabo Swinney at plus 400. Lane Kiffin coming right after him at plus 500. You have Washington head coach Kalen DeBoer and Deion Sanders both at plus 1,600, but I don't think Deion's leaving, unfortunately.
I don't think they're reaching out to him.
Yeah, I think he wants to coach his son, and I don't think his son is going to transfer. So I think you just got to stay at Colorado. Pat,
and I'm no Coach Prime hater over here, but he's not an Alabama head coach yet.
Pat Shurmur at plus 900. That's a name you haven't heard in a while. And guess who comes in at number 5? It's my suggestion that I threw out to you, Urban Meyer at plus 1,000. Get the guy get this guy his heart meds. He'll be fine. At plus 1,400, you have Billy Napier and Derek Dooley. And then you have coming after them Mike Norvell at plus 1,600. We'll see if they can get him away from Florida State. But with DJ Uiagalelei coming in there to take over the quarterback position, I think he probably will stay. Isn't that where he's going?
Yeah.
And then you have Ryan Day at plus 2,000. I don't think Ohio State would probably let him go easily. I don't think he wants to leave Ohio State. I feel like he's pretty comfortable there.
You have Belichek a call, don't you?
I mean, now granted, this list came out yesterday, so I don't think
I think you give Belichick a call.
Oh no, he's on this list. He's on the list. Okay, we'll get there.
I think you give Mike Vrabel a call.
He is also on the list, I believe. Right now it's D'Amico Ryans, the Houston Texans head coach, and Marcus Freeman at plus 2,200. I like Freeman down there, a defensive-minded head coach, a young guy, and I do think Notre Dame is washed. I think they're not a competitive team anymore. They're not going to be a playoff team ever. I just don't see. I don't see the team is not trending in the right direction. Do you agree? Disagree?
I think I agree with that. I would also say the same thing about Clemson.
Yeah, yes. Well, but the thing about Dabo is the reason Clemson's so mid is because he doesn't buy into the NIL thing. Remember, Jesus and God are our NIL.
Whoa. New odds, new FanDuel odds that came out just a couple hours ago.
Okay.
Mike Norvell is now at the top.
Wow.
At plus 200.
Well, okay.
Followed by Sweeney plus 300, tied with DeBauer at plus 300.
Okay.
Lane Kiffin at plus 600, and then D'Amico Ryans at plus 800. Now, after that, it gets pretty crazy. You're looking at plus 4,000. Four-way tie between Franklin, Shurmur, Sarkisian, and Napier.
Yep, on the list.
So it's this top 5. It's one of these 5 guys. It's Norvell, Sweeney, DeBauer, Kiffin, D'Amico Ryans.
Okay, well,
I personally think it should be Kiffin.
And here is the other wild names that you won't hear on FanDuel. Will Muschamp at plus 4,000.
Oh,
Sharon Moore at plus 2,500.
I hate that.
Mike Shula at plus 2,800. Mario Cristobal and Mike Vrabel are both plus 5,000. I would take Vrabel over Cristobal in a heartbeat. Of course, Dan Quinn at plus 6,600. Butch Jones, Clinton Dix, Tommy Reese, Brian DeBall,
Clinton Dix,
and Major Applewhite at plus 7,500. Bill O'Brien, Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick at plus 8,000. And Jim Harbaugh, Jimbo Fisher, Jason Garrett, Kirby Smart, Greg McElroy, Ken Wisenhunt, and Adam Gase at plus 10,000.
Wait, what? But no Tuberville?
No Tuberville. He's too busy being a senator. Okay. He's a politics guy.
I think it's gonna be Norvell, man.
Yeah, I
think it should be Kiffin, but I think it's gonna be Norvell.
I mean, if it's
him or Sweeney.
I just don't. I mean, like I said, with Sweeney, I think they want someone who's more NIL friendly.
I don't think it matters anymore. I mean, Alabama's gonna get it. I think it's as long as he just has somebody running that shit for him. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just doesn't want to be a part of it, but I think he kind of knows that he has to.
I mean, he was
pretty
stubborn.
Depending on how close he is to retirement. I mean, I don't know how close he is to retiring, but
yeah, I think he's a bit of ways.
I would hire Kiffin. Maybe he's he's probably not serious enough for the Alabama boosters. So I would say it's probably going to be Norvell.
Yeah, the odds would say that. And that leads us to the next conversation. Bill Belichick is gone because, like you said, he's an option for the Alabama job. Why would he be? He retires today. What were your thoughts about the greatest NFL coach of all time hanging it up?
I think that he knew when to hang it up. He's washed.
Agreed.
I mean, it's just that simple. He's just washed. How many games have they won? 3?
Yeah, it was a bad look. The thing that bothered me always about Bill Belichick was his wanting to be the guy that was in there in the draft room drafting players. That's what screwed us, man. I mean, he's a good coach, but he's a terrible drafter. Terrible.
See, what are the odds on New England's next head coach?
I have them pulled up from Bet Online.
Vrabel.
I mean,
Vrabel.
It says Vrabel is at the top with Gerard Mayo. Both of them are at plus 300. What do you have on your side?
It was a plus 250 for Vrabel.
Okay, so they switched. So Gerard Mayo originally was plus 200, and Mike Vrabel was plus 300. So is Mayo even on the list?
Hold on, I can't see it. I found another list that was where Belichick's probably going to go next.
Not
got the Falcons.
No, don't do that. I mean, the Falcons would do
Falcons
that. Falcons
plus 100.
Dude, he's done coaching. Falcons. Don't coach. Don't coach another team, Bill. Don't do
Falcons,
it. Don't do it, Bill.
Commanders. Here's the odds.
No. Oh, Falcons, God, no.
Commanders at plus 300. Titans at plus 400. Panthers at 700. And Chargers at 800.
The only 2 acceptable places for him to go are Tennessee or Los Angeles. Those are the only 2. Because Chargers makes sense because they have Herbert there as a good quarterback. And your defense needs help.
I think he goes to Dallas after we lose his playoff game.
Ooh. Get Mike McCarthy out of there, his fat fuck ass.
If we lose this playoff game, Mike McCarthy's out of there. And Jerry Jones, if he has any sense left in his demented brain... Yeah. Because he's going to give Bill Belichick a call and say, please come win us 2 Super Bowls and then retire and die.
Die. I mean,
please just come win us 2 Super Bowls, please. We have a roster. We just don't know what to do because everyone we hire is stupid because Jerry Jones is demented.
It's
been 30 damn years.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh plus 600, Bill O'Brien plus 1100. I think you're probably looking at Mike Vrabel being the top spot for the Patriots to try to reach out. He's done a fantastic job in Tennessee. And since they let him go, I know a lot of Tennessee fans, one I know personally, was not happy with the fact they let Mike Vrabel go, considering what he did with what he had at his disposal this season, a decent year for what they had. Um, I think that that's I think that's a good guy to reach out to if you're New England. I think that's probably the way you should go. If you can get Jim Harbaugh, good for you. I mean, I'm not as a Patriots fan, I'm not going to hate that idea considering the success that he had in San Francisco. I don't really have a problem going out and reaching out to him. And again, as a Patriots fan, I have won a lot. Okay. So these last what 10 years, probably 10, not even 10 years, 8
20.
years. Yeah, because 25th. Wait, when was the Brady Atlanta game? 2018.
Yeah.
So it hasn't even been 5 years we've won one. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had recent success. So I mean, the thing is I'm fine with having a couple more down years, because the thing is I'm very lucky. I know I'm very lucky to have my allegiance to a team that is successful. And a lot of teams like you, who's in a 30-year drought, have not seen in your lifetime your team do anything of any relevance. So I think I think that's a big thing that a lot of New England fans um, have to we have to get used to this. This is kind of the direction we're going. We remember what it was like when Drew Bledsoe was there. We were good, but we had a couple years with Drew where it was not looking great. And then 2001, thank Christ we had Tom Brady, because without him, I don't know if we win a lot of those Super Bowls. And Adam Vinatieri, bless his old fat heart. I mean, he was the reason we won those games, most of them. I mean, so I think that you look at the way the teams were constructed. It was a defense first approach from Bill Belichick, and he was more hands off with the drafting process. And as he aged, he wanted more control, and they gave it to him because of the fact that he kept winning. And I think he effectively, slowly led this team to a decline, because he missed on so many draft picks. I mean, N'Keal Harry never panned out. I mean, giving all the money to those tight ends like Jacoby Myers and stuff didn't pan out. I mean, it just things that smart people wouldn't have done, Bill Belichick did. And whether or not that's him going senile or him just not being good at that portion of football front office personnel work, I mean, Robert Kraft gave him a really long leash, as I think anybody with a brain would have, considering the success he had. I don't think anybody would have done any different. I don't think if he would have been a coach and been successful anywhere else, they would have said no to him. Why would you say no to somebody who's won as many Super Bowls as he has won? I wouldn't say no to him. I think that's it looks like a mistake now, but I don't think that. I mean, hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah. But let me throw a couple names at you for the Patriots head coach. Just my ideas, and let me see how you feel about it. Dan Quinn.
Would not be mad. I like Dan Quinn. I think he has turned your defense into a great defense, and I think that he deserves another shot as a head coach. I mean, talk about a guy that got Atlanta to a Super Bowl with Matty Ice. I mean, come on, man. I mean, give a guy a shot. I mean, he was working with bare bones technically. Yeah, I like that.
All right.
Who else?
Josh McDaniel.
No, get him away. No, can't do it. You just can't.
My last pick, and this one's a hot take and definitely not going to happen, but I want to hear how you would feel about it if your GM were to make such a drastic move. I mean, why not? You're gonna have a down year. You're looking to rebuild your team, establish a new culture.
Mm-hmm.
But you want someone familiar.
You're gonna say who I think you're gonna say?
Why not? Well, why not throw a little bag at Tom Brady?
I was gonna say that. I was like, why not?
Why not throw a little bag at Tom Brady? He knows. That's continuity right there. He just Belichick continued. I mean, that's really.
It would be so funny to have him coach before he even sets foot on the airwaves as a talking head. I think that would be. I like it.
I think he wants to stay on the field. I think he knows that he can't play anymore. And he's got that competitive drive. I could see him coming and making a move for this head coaching job. Now the only problem is he has ownership.
Yeah,
And
you have to give it up. Yeah.
he has ownership in the Raiders. Is it?
Oh, no, that's not right. I thought it was.
Who's he got ownership in?
Was it? Oh, let me look. I can pull it up.
I'm pretty sure it's the. Pretty sure it's the Raiders.
Raiders. Boy, that would be what?
Oh no, he was going to, but he
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, so not a problem then. He owns. Is he like a soccer guy?
Because they agreed to it in May, but the deal got held up.
Okay.
He is not currently a minority owner.
Okay.
So I guess he could. Because remember, people are talking about him suiting up for the Raiders.
Yeah, I remember that. Boy.
But I would like to see how that experiment would come out. I think that's a tough move to make because you don't necessarily want to hire somebody that has no experience, but he has experience, just not head coach experience.
Yeah, I
don't hate it. I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it. I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't be upset. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be like, "Oh, this is stupid."
Yeah.
I think most New England Patriots fans would feel the same in the fact that they would love to see Tom Brady take the helm and just see how that looks. You know, I think that I mean, it would seem like
hell of a scout team QB.
It would seem like a natural transition too. You know what I'm saying? Like the master becomes the teacher after the teacher, leaves. And I
after
think,
the teacher realizes that Tom Brady was the only reason they won anything.
which I'm not going to disagree with that to an extent. I mean, I think that even Bill Belichick will probably openly admit to that at some point. That without him, I mean, I don't think anybody's saying without Tom Brady, Belichick wins any of those. I just don't think it's feasible with what he had at his display.
I would say that.
I mean,
without Tom Brady, he doesn't win a single Super Bowl.
I think if we would have kept,
I mean, and I don't want to delay Tom Brady here, but Tom Brady's winning those Super Bowls no matter what team he's on. Maybe not. Not his first two.
Well, and the reason the reason you can say that though, Zach, is because look at who he had around him in those years, and every other team in the league had better weapons, had more household names on their roster than his rosters had for the most part. He made people household names. He made Julian Edelman a thing. He revitalized Wes Welker's career. He made Randy Moss look good one more time. I mean, there were so many things he did that if you put him, like you said, on any other team, those teams probably go the distance as well because he would have had so many more fun tools at his disposal. And
just see what happens when you throw him on Tampa Bay. You just
did it there. I mean,
you did throw him on teams. It's the LeBron James of the NFL. You throw him on a team, they're a contender, and I think that he would be able to. But my thing with Tom Brady is I don't even think he would be a great offensive coach, but I think he would be a better defensive coach. I think the amount of time that him and Bill Belichick spent dissecting defenses, the amount of time he spent learning from Bill Belichick, who was a defensive-minded coach.
Friends.
I think Tom Brady would be a fantastic defensive-minded coach, and I think he could call plays. He probably called plays on offense, but he wouldn't be terrible at calling the plays on defense either.
No, I think I think he would leave it to somebody else, but I think he would have a lot of input, and I don't think that the defensive coordinator would be stupid enough not to listen to him.
I don't think there's a single coach or an offensive or a defensive coordinator in the league that is able to recognize how teams are lining up and what they mean, because none of them are as dedicated to film study as Tom Brady.
Andy has so many years of doing it. That's the other thing is like, what other quarterback has 20 years of dissecting defenses? Nobody.
I mean, at the very least, maybe give him a call for the OC job.
I mean, something. I mean, I think having him
see if he wants it. What's the worst? The worst that happens is he says no. And he's on Fox.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you have to make that call though.
And then you make the call the year after. I mean, you keep making that call.
You keep making that call. I mean, I think he's got the itch. I think he's got the itch. I think he was waiting for the right opportunity. I think this might be it. If he was ever going to make that jump, now is the time. I was going to say this before you got onto that tangent. I was going to say, I think the biggest mistake in the last probably last 3 or 4 years for the Patriots was not being able to keep Cam Newton. I really think that Cam Newton we would have at least been a better team with him at quarterback. I think him retiring really hurt us. I know he wasn't the same
I
Cam
don't think
Newton,
that.
but I think that was the first mistake, was letting him walk away. I think that
Brother, you had Cam Newton throwing like 10 for 26, 90 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think Cam Newton was the answer there.
Better than Mac Jones. That's all I can say.
I would say better than Matt Jones. I'll give you that.
I mean,
Matt Jones was probably a terrible pick.
God damn it! And he looked so good after that first year. I was like, oh, he's cut. Like he's been working out.
You know what? Really, if the Patriots are smart, because since Tom Brady's not there anymore to tell everybody what to do. They would have drafted Jalen Hurts when they had the chance.
Yeah,
just true. I think everybody that watched Jalen Hurts a lot in college, as I did, knew that he was going to be a fantastic NFL quarterback. I'm surprised that he's slipped so far. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me.
I watched him a lot too, and I never thought he was going to be as good as he is. But I was like, he'll start for a couple years for somebody, but I didn't think he was going to be this good.
He just had the mentality. He had the right attitude. I mean,
and you can't coach that either.
NFL quarterbacks are they're gonna get to that post game interview. They're gonna run to the midfield. They're gonna shake that hand, and they're gonna give their glory to God. And that's what Jalen Hurts does.
Yeah,
that's how you know he's a good quarterback.
I mean, he's
a lunch pail guy.
I didn't think he'd ever be better than Kyler Murray, but he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought Kyler Murray was going to be.
Yeah, but he's not better than Baker Mayfield. That's the important thing.
Yeah, if you put Baker on the Philadelphia Eagles, ooh, they'd be cooking.
Baker is a top 8 quarterback this season.
I mean, the guy deserves it, man. This is like the only decent team he's been on that's given him a chance to even look like a quarterback, and I'm glad that he's gotten them to the playoffs. I think they're going to lose this weekend, but I think that I think that the fact that he's done what he's done, being on so many teams these last 4 years and being able to accomplish what he's done. I mean, even the fact that he even got the Browns to the playoffs. I mean, with that Browns team, like not even this one. Like you put him in on this Browns team instead of Joe Flacco, they're probably in the same position. You know what I'm saying? Like I really believe that. As well as David Njoku is playing and with Amari Cooper out there. I mean, the biggest thing about him was he never really had those weapons offensively to work around. And now that he has Mike Evans, it's like, oh, like you look at him, like, oh, look at Chris Godwin. Like, I mean, that's nice, I mean, now granted, I mean, not everything is fantastic for him, and he's had some really bad games. But the thing is his team as a whole, they love him to death, and you couldn't find a more likable guy and a more emotionally driven guy. He's definitely my type of player. I would love somebody that's so emotionally invested in every snap. It's something you don't really see a lot from these NFL quarterbacks. They're so stoic and they're so composed, and it's like I love his emotion.
And Baker, he's a true gamer, man.
Yeah.
He's a true gamer, man. Like he just gets in. He's so passionate about everything he does. His antics. He doing the Brett Favre recreation for his draft night. Playing the flag at Ohio State like that. That's just a guy that entertains you.
Mm-hmm.
And this season he's finally got some weapons around him like he did in college, and that's kind of how he can show out. He's got the speed around him. And you think about what, he's finally got weapons this season, and what's going on. He's having a better season than Patrick Mahomes.
Division champions.
Division champions making the playoffs. They could be better. Yeah, the roster could be better. The defense
they need
better.
A better running back.
They need a better running back. Baker's doing the most with what he can, and OU's got 2 quarterbacks in the playoffs, and nobody else does. So come to OU.
They got 3, don't they?
No.
I'm thinking about the Big 12 has 5. The Big 12 has 5. That's what it is.
Yeah, OU's 2. Yeah. Well, do we consider the season's over? So OU's not the Big 12 anymore.
Strong. SEC. SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, do I get to do it? I get to do it now, right? I
Yeah,
can do it now.
you can do it now.
SEC, SEC, SEC.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
let's go! I can't wait to. All right,
yeah.
so
That
we're
must
going to
feel
the home
good.
opener, right?
Oh yeah,
We're
heck
going to
yeah.
the home opener, Shannon, right?
Yeah, aren't we going to the Tennessee
Did I get
game?
to
We
that?
have to go to the Tennessee game,
Oh,
right?
well, we have to go to the Alabama game.
Yeah,
Love to see who they get in there as head coach, and then
yeah.
just being able to have some Alabama fans down there in Norman will be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, like you said, two legendary coaches call it quits, but is it really quits? We'll figure that out. But
it's quits for Saban.
It's
not
quits for
for
it's probably curtains.
Belichick.
Yeah, Belichick's still floating around, which I don't think he should, but I
I mean, I don't know if you watched the press conferences today, but Robert Kraft and Belichick pretty much said like, he's coaching somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's just a matter of where. Now
yeah.
Saban, I think he's going to kind of stay around the team. He'll probably be around for a couple of years, just kind of helping the transition. Maybe
I think he'll be like Bob is.
I think he will be like Bob. I don't think he's just going to leave.
Yeah,
I think he's going to help with the coaching search. I think he's going to help them decide who his replacement is. He'll probably handpick a successor, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, he came into the office today. I mean, he's a working man.
Yeah, exactly. He's coming in and out. And then you talk about Pete Carroll. Give him his flowers real quick. Obviously great career at USC. Him and Nick Saban share a national title, which is fun.
I wouldn't be mad if we grabbed Pete Carroll as a Patriots fan. I wouldn't be mad about that.
The thing is, he's been elevated into an advisory role in the organization.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So Pete Carroll,
yeah,
he's not done,
but
he's
not coaching. Yeah.
He wants to sit down at the games, is what I'm hearing.
Them hips, that gum chewing, man, it makes them makes them hips hurt.
I mean, he's really slinging that thing. He's a scout team QB. He's kind of like Jimmy Green Beans, man.
Yeah,
he's out there slinging it.
You got that right. Jimmy Green Beans out there. I saw that video of him slinging that rock, baby.
Oh man, which makes the Tom Brady hire even more interesting.
Yeah, you gotta give old TB12 a ring
imagine you get your QB1 over there in New England, and Tom comes in as the head coach, and he's like, "All right, listen, let me take a few first team
he's
reps."
Suiting up. He's pulling the longest yard, suiting up and coaching role that. I'm only gonna come in for one play, and it's got to be the game-winning play. But I'm only coming in for one play.
Here's the thing: Tom Brady, if it's one play to win the game, he's hitting that bitch.
No, 100%, dog. He ain't losing that touch that quick. And let's let's give them their flowers. They deserve it. It's been a fantastic era of great head coaches. We've been blessed to have such legends in this decade, and there's definitely going to be some more that are going to be starting to form. You gave me some earlier. Mike McDaniels at Miami looks like someone that could launch himself into that legendary status. You have guys like
DeMeco Ryan.
Yeah, DeMeco Ryan's looking fantastic down in Houston. There are guys out there right now that are positioned to take that lead role as the guy in their respective leagues, and not even just the guy one time, but the guy consistently. And I think
John Harbaugh is also an option there.
Obviously in the conversation.
Let's talk about the Harbaugh brothers. Maybe it's the Harbaugh twins. It's their time.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, maybe Jim decides to go work with his brother. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. If you ask me right now who's winning the Super Bowl, it's the Ravens. So
I got the Browns. Give me the Browns. Give me the Browns. Joe Flacco wins another Super Bowl. Go Browns! That's who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the Browns. They're not going to win. I'm rooting for the Browns.
Really?
Okay?
If you were rooting for the Browns, put $100 on them.
I already did. I already put 20. Okay, to win like to win $3,000. I put 20 on the Browns to win the Super Bowl. Okay, leave me alone.
Joe Flacco's gonna come for you. He's gonna come through for you.
He's gonna throw 3 picks and lose the first round game, and I'm gonna be like, damn it, Joe. Like. He's played so good.
Money on Dak throwing 2? Where do I go to put money on Dak throwing two
INTs? I'm sure PrizePicks has a line. If
there is a 3+ line, I'll take that.
Take it. I would take that for Josh Allen too.
Yeah, but they'll win the game.
Yeah, but you could still double dip on that prop, both of them to throw 3+ picks. You know how much money you would win? So much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but let's talk about that. We'll come to the Thunder here at the end here, but let's get into Wildcard weekend, right? Because that's the only thing we really got going on football wise. The first game is Saturday. It's the Browns and Texans. The Browns are a 2.5 point favorite here. Give me your thoughts on this game because I think this one is going to be a classic.
Let's see, let me pull up the talking about the Browns and the Texans, right?
Yes.
I don't think this is going to be a classic. I think the Texans are going to mollywop the Browns.
Wow.
I think C.J. Stroud is going to throw for like 500 yards. I'm not even joking right now. I think they're going to beat the dog shit out of the Browns. I think the Cleveland dog pound is going to have its shit beat out of it.
You need to know this, okay? A rookie quarterback has never won a playoff game against the team with the top-ranked defense in the first round. I'm just saying that. Never. I'm just saying.
I've never seen a rookie quarterback like C.J. Stroud either. I don't give a fuck. C.J. Stroud is that guy.
I've seen a quarterback.
He threw for almost 500 yards.
Like, they're always trailing until the end. They're always trailing until the end. You have to throw it.
Don't care. Don't care. Texans are going to win this playoff game and not a single other one, but they're going to win this one.
All right, I'll take the other side of that. I like my Browns, baby. I like my Browns. Let's go, Joe Flacco, baby. You're in a dome. We're cooking. There's no elements involved. Like, you know, the Texans are the home team, so they're already going to feel juiced, and I think that the moment's going to be too bright for the young lad. It's time to shit the bed, CJ.
If Joe Flacco wins a playoff game in the year of our Lord 2024, I mean, what are we doing as a society? We got Joe Flacco starting a playoff game in 2024. That is 2024 years after the death of Jesus Christ. What are we?
It could happen.
He won a Super Bowl. What was that? 2000 what year was that?
11?
13?
Oh, was it?
11? 12? 2012?
It was 12, I think.
It's been 12 years. It's been 12 years.
The boy's about to win number 2.
There are children getting victory royales on Fortnite that were not alive when Joe Flacco won the blackout Super Bowl. It's just they weren't there. God, you remember that? You remember that blackout?
Oh, God. Crazy. I was really rooting for the 49ers. I really wanted Colin Kaepernick to get that dub. I really did.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
I mean,
that would have helped him down the road.
And the fact that like the Ravens were winning before that blackout, and here come the 49ers, they would have been able to come back and do that. All the conspiracy theorists would have had orgasms, dog.
Was that was John versus Jim, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the Brother Bowl. That was the Brother Bowl.
It was. Damn. Yeah, well, no, it wasn't because last year was the Brother Bowl. No. Jason and Travi.
Yeah, so 2012 was the last time that Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. But yeah, so Delaware's finest. The nightcap though is one that I know a couple people are upset about. That are Dolphins fans. They are traveling to one of the coldest places in the country, Kansas City, where it's going to be -1 degrees. And the Chiefs.
We're gonna feel that.
Yeah. And
we're gonna feel that cold here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it'll be here in about 4 hours. So
it's gonna get bad. It's the Peacock special here.
Yeah, the Peacock special. Luckily I've got the Peacock. If not, remember, Meth streams, Plenty Pass, or Stream East. If you don't have
Sports
Peacock.
Sports Feed 24, Stream East, Sports Surge. We got plenty.
We got plenty of places. We got options. Meth streams has been the go-to
game
for me.
In years.
But
I hit Sports Feed 24 last night for the Thunder game. It was pretty good, but I've been pretty common on the Stream East and the Sports Surge.
Stream East has kind of fallen off because so many people are using it. Their servers get clogged and they can't handle it.
They're getting sniped.
Yeah, so that's been unfortunate. But I really think that the Chiefs, they're 4.5-point favorites. I like them in these conditions. I like the fact that a lot of people are doubting them. I also put money on them to win the Super Bowl because no one's believing in them either. It's not as big of a winning as it would be if Cleveland got there, but it still would be like $300 if you place a $10 bet or something like that. And I think that here it is, the odds right now. They're plus 1,000. So
I like those odds
Yeah.
because, Travis Kelce is kind of the main reason I think that the Chiefs have kind of fallen off this year. They don't have a ton of weapons at receivers, and, Travis Kelce's kind of been the escape option for Pat Mahomes, and he hasn't really shown that this year, but I think he's going to turn it on for the playoffs. And I think the weather is definitely going to play a big role here. Miami has to go play in, I think negative temperatures, and it's going to be a blizzard,
-1.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
-1.
Yeah, -1, and it's going to be a blizzard. Kansas City
Well,
is not necessarily
it says
used
there's
to that weather.
Yeah, it says there's not going to be any precipitation. It says it's going to be clear.
But there will be snow on the ground.
Oh, on the ground, yes. No, on the ground.
Yeah, there will at least be snow on the ground,
yes.
so it won't affect their vision as much, but it will a little bit because of the white light reflection. But it will affect their ability to like take off, run routes, releases, everything. I like the Chiefs here a lot just because I don't think Miami's ready for that. The Chiefs, while they're not necessarily used to that kind of weather, are more used to it than that. I think the Dolphins, maybe not, because the Dolphins are in the AFC East and they do have to go up there to Buffalo and to New England a lot. So it's not like they haven't played in these snow games before. But I feel like Kansas City should win this one. But maybe this is the opportunity for Mike McDaniels to really show himself, show what he can do as a head coach. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Miami winning the AFC Championship here. I think if they beat the Chiefs, Miami's winning the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think I'm kind of on the side of Kansas City's probably going to win this thing. I just don't think that Miami's in a good spot right now. For all the reasons you just mentioned, I think that's a huge factor for them. And so I think that,
they really needed that win against Buffalo.
Yeah, I think that was a huge catastrophe for them. So I think we're both going Chiefs on that. You got Texans, I got Browns. Steelers Bills at noon on Sunday. Buffalo a 10-point favorite. Any odds that Mason Rudolph can lead the Steelers to a dub over the Bills on the road?
Absolutely no shot.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I would say no shot, but the way that Josh Allen's been playing lately, the way the Bills have choked off some of these playoff games, if Mason Rudolph decides to have the game of his life, this would be the time to do it. He's been playing very well for Mason Rudolph standards. They are throwing the ball a lot more with him than they were with Kenny Pickett. As far as play calling goes, Najee Harris is playing pretty well right now. Jaylen Warren looks fantastic. I think that the Steelers have more of a shot than 10 point. I don't think they lose this by 10. I think they lose this by like 7 or something. I think 10 is probably too much credit because I just think the Bills, when the moment matters, and the Steelers defense, even without TJ Watt, which they're 1-6 without him. So they're not great without his pressure from the defensive line spot. But I think that their secondary is good enough to kind of hang with some of these receivers, and it'll be 23 degrees, no precipitation. But I like the Bills to win it. I just think it'll be closer than people think it'll be.
I like the Bills to win it. I think I can agree with you. The Tomlin coach team's going to lose this thing by 7.
Yeah. I think a touchdown is probably sufficient, and I think it's one of those where it's I think Mason Rudolph will have a chance to go down and tie and probably not get it, and they'll be able to run the clock out. I think it'll be something like that. I think people will be I think Bills fans will be cursing at halftime. They might even be losing at halftime by a field goal or something, like 10-7 or something. I could see, and then the final score is like 21 to 17 or like 24-17, something like that.
A little Minka Fitzpatrick pitch sits or something.
Yeah, the over under for
throw the momentum on.
Yeah, the over under for this is 36.5. I'm kind of tempted to smash the over on this, but I just don't think it's going to be necessary for the Bills to get the win, to have them score a bunch of points, and at the rate that Josh Allen's turning the ball over, probably not going to be a blowout win for the Bills, but it'll be a win, and that's what matters to Bills fans as they advance past Wildcard weekend. And now we get to your game here, Packers and Cowboys. Cowboys a 7.5-point favorite at home against the Pack, but the Pack playing very good. As of lately, I think this is the best football they've played all season, and so the Cowboys catching the Packers at probably the worst time possible. But, again, you're inside a dome here. There's no elements going on. 50.5 is the over-under here, so this is supposed to be points, points, points. Your thoughts?
I mean, Dallas should win. I'm also a Cowboys fan and know that they probably won't. I'm gonna pick them, but
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily happy about it or confident in that pick. I do got my bracket up here and I've filled it out, so I got all my picks ready to go.
Okay.
But
and you can make two. You can make two.
I can make two. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'll make two, but this is my official one that I'm going to go with for our predictions here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Cowboys winning this one. I think Jordan Love's not going to be able to handle this defense. I think the pass rush is going to show up in this game. Hopefully, please God, hopefully. And I think the Cowboys are good enough to win at least one playoff game. We'll see what happens between the Eagles and the Buccaneers, because that could determine how far we go in the next game. But I think the Cowboys come out with this one, hopefully win by 10.
Yeah, I mean, it should be something like that. I agree. It'll depend on how good Jordan Love plays. Jaden Reed's had a fantastic year for the Packers. But you're right. I mean, this is a more talented, better Cowboys team than the Packers by a really large margin. But we've seen the ineptitude of really talented Dallas teams fall to teams they shouldn't. I don't think this is going to be the team that gets them. I think this is definitely one of those where you're looking at the next round game being a little bit more of a danger zone here. But don't take the Packers lightly. They could come bite you in the behind, and no one would be surprised.
Yeah, but I think we should get karma. Des caught it, and I think that we should get a little bit of karma from that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Oh.
The anniversary was, I think, today, actually, of that catch.
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, so, and it is a catch. So 7 p.m. the nightcap for Sunday is Lions-Rams. This is the highest total of the day at 51.5. Stafford versus Goff. A little bit of switcheroo quarterback stuff here. Detroit favored by a field goal at home inside the confines of Ford Field. Again, not a game in the elements. This one, to me, I like the Lions here. The Rams have been playing okay. Obviously, they didn't play any of their starters. Week 18 didn't need to. And ended up winning the game by 1 anyways against the 49ers, who didn't play their starters as well. But what are you thinking about this game late Sunday night?
I like the Rams. I think Matt Stafford's going to come to Detroit. He's going to play his little home game, and the fans are going to be rooting for him no matter what. And I think that he's going to sling this thing to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's going to, after disappointing me the entirety of the fantasy season, is probably going to have like 130 yards. And I think we're going to see a Puka game. Hopefully, I think Puka can come out here and get 110, 120 yards, and really show us something. I got the Rams coming out of this one.
It would be very Lions-esque for them to lose. Again, this is one of the closest spreads of any of these games, so I think this is more of a toss-up than most of the games you'll see this weekend, besides the Monday game, but which I'm kind of surprised. But I like the Lions here. I would not be surprised if the Rams get the job done, considering how good their offense is. Their defense is just so bad against the pass specifically, and I think that's really dangerous against a Jared Goff, who's hitting his stride with 4,500 yards this season, 30 tutties and 12 picks. He's having a great year, and he's got a defense that's catering to him throwing the football. So the 51.5 line, I like the over in this one too. I think both of these teams are going to score a butt ton of points. So I would put your money on the over for sure. And that leads us to Monday, where it's Baker versus Jalen Hurts. Again, this is kind of a spread that kind of surprised me. Philadelphia by 3 here, but this game is down in Tampa Bay. It's going to be 70. This is, I mean, Baker's had a great year. Battle of the OU quarterbacks here. What are your thoughts here? I like the Buccaneers in this spot to do what people would think would be the impossible. But the Eagles are playing really bad football right now. Whether or not they were just kind of bored until this moment will be kind of dictated here. And Baker's got to prove that he can step up after only scoring 9 points their last game. He's got to look at himself in the mirror and figure out what he's got to do to advance this team past a very good Philadelphia team. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I like Tampa Baker. I mean, I think that they're going to come out of here, and I think they could go on a little run. I don't want to make any predictions. I think the Buccaneers are going on a little run here.
I think
they got some weapons.
Yeah, I think the only way I see them going on a run here, Zach, is if the Packers beat the Cowboys. Then I think they have enough weapons to beat the Packers, and they could find themselves in the NFC Conference Championship game against what could be what probably would be who would they be playing? The 49ers probably.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so now if the Lions are Rams,
what if the Rams beat the 49ers?
If the Rams beat the 49ers, then you're
Tampa Baker Mayfield in the Super Bowl is what I'm hearing. A Baker Mayfield ring would bring so much joy to my heart.
Oh, me too. I would want nothing more than to be able to wear a Tampa Bay Baker Mayfield jersey with pride.
I am going to be taking Tampa Bay here, though. I think the Eagles are a fraud this year.
Okay, yeah.
They ended the season terribly.
Bad.
I mean, just terrible. Jalen Hurts is playing like garbage. They're talking about an MVP candidate because he looks pretty in commercials. This dude threw like 23 touchdowns and like 13 or 14 picks. Let's not sugarcoat it. He played terrible. And I think the Eagles fans need to realize that I don't think this isn't a matter of we're waiting for the playoffs. Like, they're not going to snap and all of a sudden the issues are going to be fixed. They're playing like trash. Devontae Smith and AJ Brown aren't on the same page. They're not on the same page with their quarterback. The run game's playing like garbage. The offensive line playing like they're all washed, which they might be. And the defense can't do anything. The defense can't stop a damn thing. Yeah, they let the Cowboys run all over them. What are we doing? I don't see Philadelphia putting up more than 17 points.
This is a pretty big over-under. 43.5 for this game is.
I would take the under.
Yeah, this is the fourth highest over-under. You have the top one is the Lions Rams. The next one is Cowboys Packers, and then you have Browns Texans and Dolphins Chiefs both at 44.5, and then you have Bucs Eagles, which I think, like you said, take the under probably here with this. I think this is going to be a like 20-17, type of game here. Now Baker could surprise us and go out and throw for 4 touchdowns and really, really pour it on. But like you said, the Eagles are just not playing well. And like you said, I said, my worry was that if they were just bored. But I just don't think that's the case, because you wouldn't have lost this many in a row if you were just bored. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is definitely a problem. I don't know how healthy AJ Brown is going to be either. He took a vicious shot last week, and he had to be helped off the field. That's one of those guys you just can't not have at your disposal if you're Philadelphia and wanting to win this game. So yeah, I for one think that the Buccaneers have a really solid chance at winning this football game, and I think this 3-point spread dictates the fact that the bettors are also very confident in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Agree with that. I want you to know that I just made my second bracket, and I have the Lions winning this one.
Oh, well, good for Detroit.
Lions Browns Super Bowl.
Oh, baby. Ooh, baby.
I would eat that up.
Do you want to know what the odds are for for the
what are the odds of that?
exact matchup of
What are the odds? Can I get a parlay odd for the Lions and Browns making the Super Bowl and then Lions winning it? We'll see how much money I would make on a little tenner there.
for okay, wait, go say it one more time for me. I'm trying to
Browns win AFC.
Browns win the AFC. Is he whoops. Looking at special see matchup by oh no. Jersey. Exact result. So conference winner. You said you want Bucs conference winner at plus 28 at plus 2,800.
No, Browns conference winner.
Browns conference winner.
And then Lions.
The Browns and Lions. You could parlay it. It'd be 11 plus 11,600. A tenner on that would be $1,170. Like a cool 1,000 for you. Now exact result. If you have Lions, Detroit over Cleveland, that's a possibility, right? Or you said no? Did you say Detroit over Tampa Bay? Is that what you said?
Detroit over Cleveland is the Super Bowl.
Detroit over Cleveland. Detroit Lions to beat the Cleveland Browns at plus 25,000. You could parlay that, and your $10 would get you. Oh, you can't parlay it. You can only do singles, but $10 on that. $10 on that alone would give you $2,500. If you singled all of them, you would win around $2,800 if you singled all of those.
Hold on.
It'd be 30. You would spend $30 and win.
What are the odds? What are the odds on all those?
On all those, plus 1,200 for the Cleveland Browns, plus 800 for the Detroit Lions, and plus 25,000 for Detroit to beat Cleveland.
$10 would win me $293,660 on a parlay.
Yeah, if you were able to, but you're not. But
yeah, if I was able to parlay that.
Yeah, that would be wild.
It'd be the best bet ever.
Oh, it would. Yeah, it would be the best bet ever.
Let's get a little halftime check-in real quick on the Thunder game.
Because that's the last
75 Oklahoma City to
39
Trailblazers.
Holy
39.
Holy, I gotta look at this box
holy
score.
Defense is what I'm looking at.
I gotta look at this box score. What the hell is
holy
happening?
Defense. I mean, look at these team stats. They're shooting 28.8% from the field, 21 from the three, 57 from the free throw, as opposed to the Thunder, who are shooting 58 from the field.
No, 59.2 from the field. Almost 60% from the
29 of 50.
29 of 49 on ESPN. So I wonder what that last shot was. They're only 2 of 12 from three, though. That's bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Free throws are looking fine.
But when the other team is shooting 21%, that's okay.
I'm looking at assists. We have 18 to their 8. Points in the paint. Yeah, I'm surprised we only have 3 blocks at the half, but
cooking team
probably all belong to Chet.
Yeah, team stats right now. Oh, Portland's shooting 27% as a team. That's so bad. And they're only shooting 57% from the line. And, the Thunder's the best free throw shooting team in the league. No surprise there. Largest lead, 36, which is right now. Portland was up by 5 at one point.
We have 2 blowouts. The Boston game, they're beating the Bucs are beating Boston by 41 points going into the fourth quarter. And the Thunder are beating the Blazers right now by 36. And those are the only 2 games today. So we got some snooze fest going on in the NBA tonight.
Yeah, Jason Tatum playing like trash. Oh my God, the leading scorer. Yeah. The leading scorer for Boston is Sam Hauser. That's bad. Don't let that happen.
That's real bad.
I mean,
That's real bad.
on the other side though, Damian Lillard's got
Oh.
21. Let's see, Antetokounmpo 24. Middleton's only got 5 points. Oak. Oh my gosh, off the bench, Bobby Portis with 25, baby. Bobby Portis.
Oh my God, listen to this. Oklahoma City scored 39 points in the second quarter alone.
Yeah,
That's
cooked.
the total that Portland has right now.
Cooked.
Portland scored 15 points in the second quarter.
And Dallas is cooking New York right now too, 53-39.
Yeah, it's just
they are
blowouts everywhere, man.
Hartenstein's like a throw up. I mean, I'm getting prize pick cooked right now.
Dude, did I tell you I put over Christmas break? I put money on Tyrese Maxey in a game on, I think it was the Christmas Day game, to score like 30 points or something because he had been going on such a tear.
Yeah. And he just
put a little money on him. He had his worst. He had the worst night of his career.
Yeah, it's me. That's me every time. That's me. I literally feel like
he did not score in the first half.
Yeah, fade everything I pick.
It was like as soon as I threw him in on a parlay, you know.
Like right now,
right now, I'm like, you scored 39 points your last game and you don't score in the first half. Yeah. Come on. All right, whatever. It's been a couple weeks. I can stop being angry about it.
Yeah, I need. So right now, I don't know if I told you, but like, anyways, Thunder. They're looking fantastic.
Thunder
looking fantastic.
We got a championship team here.
It is definitely comprised to be good enough to be.
We don't have to talk about. We don't have to talk about number 3. But we got ourselves a team here.
Hey, he's been getting me some money lately. Josh Giddey, man, you bet
making plays.
You bet the under on that 18 points per game. You are golden. You are golden. I mean, I'm not even joking.
I'm always betting Josh Giddey under 18.
Yeah, he had the line last night was 17.5. I was like under. And he hit it. He
under. That's too. Yeah, he's rounding up there.
Yeah, so like right now, I got one parlay going here where I need Holmgren to continue what he's doing, which is not rebounding the basketball because he doesn't do that. He's got the line was 8. He's only got 3, so we're looking pretty good, especially with the big lead. Probably gonna sit him early.
He's probably not playing the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean Shea might cook me because he's got 4 rebounds. His line was 6, and I said he'd have less, so he'll probably cook me on that. But
wow, they only have 14 and 15 minutes so far, respectively.
Yeah, so they're not even playing that much. I need him to have 2 more assists though. I need Holmgren to hit 2 more shots. I accidentally picked Cam Johnson instead of Cam Thomas for the Brooklyn Nets game today, and that really, really sucked. They put Cameron Johnson's line at 18.5 points plus assists. He had 4. He played terrible. And Cam Thomas played fantastic. I did pick the over on Josh Giddey assists. I had his line at 4. He hit that at 6. So looking good there.
Yeah,
I just need Devin Booker to have 36.5 or more points, rebounds, and assists. And I need OG Anunoby to grab 4 more rebounds for the Knicks against Dallas. So and for some reason they took a rebound away from Nicholas Claxton. He had 12 boards and the line was 11, and then they took one away, so he's a push at 11. So even if this goes through, I'm not going to win the 250 I would have won. But it is what it is. So,
watching the game highlights here, Josh Giddey's having a really good game.
Yeah, he's having a decent game. That's why I picked the assists over, because I was like, I didn't feel comfortable doing anything else. He got 13 points.
Looks like we're having another even spread game here. When I went to the Nets game on New Year's, it was like everybody scored like 20 points, each. And it was great just watching everybody kind of get some buckets. I was kind of hoping for an SGA 50 ball or something, but that was good too. I thought Cam Thomas was going to go for 50 because he scored like 10 points in a row in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's so streaky too. Like that's who I was watching today at work, and I was like, man, like having that Paris game on at work was nice. Made time go by really quick.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, not necessarily. Do we want to make a quick, way stupid too early prediction for the Natty next year?
Yeah, you can if you want to. I'll join you in that fun. Why not?
I'll say we're not allowed to pick. Neither of us are allowed to pick our favorite team.
Okay, that's fair.
I really honestly think that we're gonna have a national championship this year between the Oregon Ducks and the Florida State Seminoles.
Ooh, I like that. I think national championship. The two teams I think that are gonna make it. I'm gonna go. God, this is painful. I'm gonna go with. I like the Florida State pick because I don't see any other team that's going to really beat them in the ACC next year. So I like Florida State getting there as like a revenge type of tour. Like they're gonna have a revenge tour.
If they go 13-0, they have to get in this time. Like,
well, I mean, they're gonna get in the 12 team if you go 13-0. There's no shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no. There's no shot. They're not gonna be there. So I think Florida State. And my other pick, and boy, this is painful for me to say, I'm gonna go Missouri. No, I think Missouri has a really good shot at being like one of those last teams that like makes it into the playoff. And maybe makes some noise. I like the way they're composed. Burden coming back is huge for them. They're gonna have their same quarterback, and he played a lot better than we thought he was coming in this year. I think he's legit. They're gonna miss their running back for sure. They've got a good one coming in though, and like you said, they've picked up some guys in the portal and got some good recruits on the defensive line. They could be that. I mean, they're definitely a sleeper pick. I do like Missouri to make a run this next season, and I think Missouri fans will be happy with me saying that. I'm not happy saying it because
I think they're just so overrated, man.
I was gonna pick what you literally said. I was gonna pick Florida State, Oregon because I think that's probably the most likely scenario considering who's coming back and whatnot. But I mean,
Michigan's obviously there too. But
I guess
if Harbaugh's there,
yeah, if that's a big if.
Missouri, they have what? They have a impressive win against Tennessee. Nothing else.
Oh, you know what? I should have just said Tennessee. I should have just said Tennessee. Because that freshman quarterback they got looked good.
Am I crazy for saying Tulane? A little Tulane action in the 12 slot there?
Who's going to be their quarterback?
I don't know.
It's got to be a transfer guy, right?
I just know Tulane's going to be number 12 in the playoff. So
yeah, them or Liberty. Liberty might be higher. Oklahoma State.
Anymore. They're in the. I don't hate it.
Who's gonna beat them, man? Like, I mean, like it's not gonna be.
They ended the year really well. I mean,
Bowman coming back for his 95th year. I mean,
they should have went and got Casey Thompson, but I can see why that didn't happen. I mean, he is kind of OU royalty.
Yeah.
Even though he played at Texas and Nebraska.
And OSU just got one of their ex running backs back, AJ Green. He transferred back from Arkansas back to Stillwater, and that'll be a good 1-2 punch with Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie Gordon might carry you there anyways, but I think I like Oklahoma State to win the Big 12.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they have to be the favorite. I think
Utah is right now.
Utah is the favorite right now, but that's because Cam Rising is going to be playing again, right? Because he has
I just think it's because of Kyle Whittingham, man. I just think it's the coach.
He's a good coach. He's a really good coach. I mean, if I'm Alabama, I might make that call.
I'm making that call.
Yeah, I mean, might as well.
But I'm a little Utah fanboy, a little bit.
I mean, but I would if I'm Alabama, I'm probably making that call. But yeah, I think those are good predictions. So we'll get those out there for you guys. And any other thing to add on here before we skeetle?
No.
All right.
Sir.
Well, we will see you guys after Wildcard weekend. We'll have most of this stuff wrapped up. Hopefully, have some coaching news. Maybe not, but we'll see what happens. And for Zach here at the St0ner Sports Radio Podcast, we will see you for episode 56. Keep stick on the ice. See ya.